Hello and a very warm welcome to this CNN IBN special, joined today by a cricketer that the country is celebrating. In fact, the world is celebrating. Thank you very much. It's been long overdue to talk to Virat Kohli. Thank you very much. I must begin by congratulating you the Arjuna award. I know you win a lot of awards, but this is an accomplishment, a recognition for what you've achieved over these last few years.
Yeah, it's a great honor for me, honestly. Last year I saw Mr. Virat Singh get it, and he told me how proud he was to get it, and what an amazing feeling it was. So yeah, at this age, at this point in my career, to get it, I think I couldn't have asked for anything more, and it's probably the one of the best things that have happened to me in my life, and I'm very proud of it.
A lot has happened to you in your life. You're not even 25 yet, Virat, but it's a good place to be for Virat Kohli. I've just sheer numbers, the kind of things you've accomplished. Now, what, 19 international hundreds already. Sometimes do you wake up and wonder, am I living some sort of dream here?
Yeah, it happens a lot to me, actually. Honestly, I mean, there are times when I just sit alone and think, I would never have thought myself that at this age I would be at this stage in my career, honestly. And God's been kind, and I've been working hard as well. So all the things have come together at the right time, I guess. And I've learned sort of playing international cricket. That's been a good transition for me, because a lot of guys play a lot of first class cricket and then come into the team. But I've been lucky enough to learn at the international level, so you settle down pretty quickly, and you get to know how to play in different situations, and playing against the best in the world obviously teaches you a lot. So yeah, but it is surreal at times when I sit down and think I've got 1900s now, and my dream was just to play for India once and then get one, and get another one. So you don't really realize when you're playing, but when you sit down alone and think about it, it's a bit scary at times.
When you look at your career, and among the figures that staggered me, at least, just having been around cricket for all these years, is that you're already now the number 3 Indian batsman in terms of number of centuries made in one-day cricket already. And the guys in front of you are Saurav and Sachin. It's the sort of list that a 25-year-old kid has no business being on.
Well, I sort of keep getting these updates along the lines whenever I get 100, because as I said, I mean, it's hard for me to believe sometimes as well that I've got these many centuries in international cricket or one-day cricket separately, and I just try to forget that moment quickly, because I don't want to think about it too much and then start doubting myself, thinking that it's come too early for me, because I want to achieve something really big, and I want to be known as a player who won a lot of games for India, and who scored a lot of runs for the country. So I get that thought and I let go of it, because then I sit down and think all the greats of the game, they start doing that at a very early age. So it's not such a bad thing to start doing that when you're young, and along the lines you keep learning, and you'll have phases, but as long as you can stay consistent, I think that's a very good thing.
So we're talking about Virat being one-day captain, having had a taste of this, just winning in Zimbabwe, having had a taste of it in the Tri-Series in the West Indies. Have you had fun doing it?
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. I'm someone who always tries to give ideas in difficult situations, or any situations as such, to the captain, so the team could benefit from it. And I've always had interest in thinking what could be done at what point of time, because as a captain, you really can't focus on all the things that are going on in the field. So I've always tried to analyze what a batsman is trying to do, where we could bowl to him, what sort of field we could set. So I've always had interest in all those things, and even when I'm batting, I try to take responsibility. That's the mindset I've always had since I was playing my first game for India. So I always had that feeling of being responsible for the team. And now when the post was given to me for a series and a few games in West Indies, I was really happy to test myself, more importantly than anyone else judging me, that how good can I be at this level leading a side. So I really enjoyed it. It was a good experience for me.
Obviously, the captain at the moment is a colossus in Indian cricket. He's someone who's respected a lot. You've got a good relationship with him. What's it been like to be sort of deputy to Dhoni, learning from him? He said very good things about Virat Kohli, the captain, at a press event in Delhi. I don't know if you followed that last week. So this is obviously a relationship of a student and a mentor to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent you could say that, because when I came into the team, I've always tried to learn as much as I can from all the seniors in the team, but especially from someone who deals situations so well, who's so calm in a lot of difficult situations. And I've seen him overcome things like the World Cup final, or difficult phases like Test series in England and Australia,
Tri-series final in the
Tri-series final in West Indies, Champions Trophy final. So to see how calm he remains in all situations, and to soak in all the criticism, all the bad phases that we had as a team, plus in important crunch games keeping his composure. I think I've learned a lot from him, and it's just been really nice to sort of have him around and learn things about cricket in general, not just captaincy. But in these last few months I tried to learn a lot more about captaincy with him, and he would discuss things with me as well. So yeah, it's been wonderful to actually be his deputy and learn along the lines, and he supported me as well throughout. And I know I had tough times in Australia and West Indies when we were playing test matches, but he's someone who's backed me throughout, and given me that one extra chance that could probably be the turning point for me.
Now you're looked at as the future India captain. You've been identified in that role. Do you see yourself in that role in years to come? And also, do you find it a little odd sometimes to lead a team of contemporaries? Because a lot of these guys have guys who've grown up with you. They are, they are fellow players for a long time. Is it hard to, for instance, leave someone out of an 11, take him off the bowling attack, a friend of yours when he feels like he can get a wicket, things like that?
Yeah, that's something which is a little weird initially, because these guys have been playing cricket with me for a long time now, and I'm really good friends with all of them. So it's very hard to actually leave someone out of the 11 and take someone off the bowling attack, as you said, or drop someone in the batting order, seeing a situation. So sort of there can be a lot of weird atmosphere at times, according to what the team wants and how you have to convey it to a guy who's a really good friend of yours. But at the end of the day, you got to understand you're leading a side, and they have to respect that fact. So but it's much easier sort of discussing things with the guys who you've played with, rather than I would that's the one of the first questions I asked MS Dhoni, that how was it captaining Sachin Tendulkar in your when you were captain in your first game. And he said it was very tough for me. It was very weird to actually tell a guy to go to a certain position that I've grown up watching and I've idolized. So I can imagine how tough that was. These situations are much easier to handle.
Yeah, you might get that very soon in your career, who's to know. However, there's a lot of opinion on cricket in India, as you know. One of these opinions is that Virat Kohli isn't really suited to be captain of India, because sure, he's beaten he's had good success in Zimbabwe. However, there's tags attached to you, Virat, and you know that. He's brash, he's arrogant, he's part of this generation, he's a tattoo-wearing generation, all of that. Does that concern you? Are there too many people with an opinion about Virat Kohli who do not know you at all?
There are loads. There are plenty. I've heard these things so many times that they don't even bother me anymore. Honestly, they don't. They make no difference to my goals and what I want to achieve as an individual, or what I could offer to the team, or my mindset, or anything like that. I've had these tags along the lines, but some people sometimes when I do well, they say this is the way forward, this is the way to be in the face of the opposition. When we don't do well, then all these tags come back saying it's not good for him. And I know it's not good crossing the line, but something that's giving me success in the past few years, I don't intend to change that. I mean, if you see a Ricky Ponting, if you see a Viv Richards, they were always in the face of the opposition. So, and they've been legends in their own rights. And I don't intend to change the way I think about the game, but obviously crossing the line is something that is not on, and I've carved that down to a major extent, and I aim to do that in future as well. So I've made mistakes in the past, but if you start judging someone from the age of 19 when he comes into the side and keep putting pressure on him on one aspect, then some people tend to get irritated. But I've obviously learned from it. I know where I'm going, and I want to only improve about all these little things. One of the things that people talk about is calmness, and as captain, obviously associated with the style of captaincy that MS Dhoni has. But calmness as captain, how important have you felt that to be? And have you made a conscious effort? For instance, there was a situation in Zimbabwe where you had an argument or a
back and forth with the umpire. Is that sort of thing, when you look back on it, do you regret it? Is that something you're consciously trying to get out of?
See, it's very important to be calm as a captain. I feel that, especially when you're on the field and you have to take all the decisions, sort of single-handedly. And I think that's where you need to remain really calm. And I've made a conscious effort to actually improve on those lines. While batting, it's more of an individual thing. When two people are batting in the middle, or a bad decision always annoys you, but all you can do is just try to forget it and walk away. That incident wasn't as good on my part, and I should have just walked away no matter how the umpire gave me out. So yeah, all these little things I'm trying to, not trying to, I really want to omit from my system and just move forward and be the best possible thinker or a leader that I can be.
Yeah, I mean, people tend to forget you are only 25. Some of us who've obviously sit on the outside and talk about the game don't realize that at the end of the day, it's 25-year-old kids playing the game. However, the big challenge now, Virat, as a cricketer, obviously, is the immediate one is that tour to South Africa. Yes, you've got a one-day series against Australia. Especially in the context of what's happened to Indian Test cricket overseas of late. England, Australia, everyone knows the numbers. In your mind, how important is that challenge?
I think it's probably that one of those milestones that will be remembered in Indian cricket for a long time, because we've not done pretty well in the last few tours that we've gone abroad and played test matches. So, and South Africa is one of the toughest places to play cricket. So, especially test cricket. And I went and experienced that in one days. And conditions are not that easy. You need to sort of be at your best in every aspect, mentally, technically, and how you plan about the game. So I think this side right now, which is really exciting, a lot of young players. We've been doing really well in whatever matches we've played in England, West Indies, in Zimbabwe. So people are really looking forward to something really special from this team in South Africa. And everyone in the team realizes that, and they realize the importance of that particular tour.
You know why I wanted to ask you, Virat, in particular about South Africa, but in the larger context of Test cricket, there is another line of thinking that a lot of the young players now have moved on from thinking about Test cricket as the primary form of the game, as the ultimate form of the game. It's you play 3 formats, and one of the formats is Test cricket. Is that a correct assessment? Are young players, you're a young player, moving away from the idea of success at Test cricket? Does it affect them as much to not succeed at Test cricket?
To me, it affects me big time, because as a youngster, my only aim was to play Test cricket for India and just wear that white jersey and score runs for India, because I saw all these greats of the game doing well in Test cricket, and that was my only aim, because Test cricket can be really exciting, and it's always been my dream to be successful in Test cricket. But you're right nowadays, a lot of young players don't have sort of that ambition to play Test cricket, and they don't really they're not really bothered if they make it to the Test team or not. But if you ask me, my immediate goals right now is to get to average of 15 Test cricket and maintain that, because I want to be known as a good Test player first and then adjust to all the formats. So I think that sort of thinking is lacking nowadays, and I really wish and hope that people start having that sort of aim again.
Because that is an important thing that you're saying. A lot of young players now coming through the system. Now you're the sort of almost the last generation of players that grew up idolizing Test achievers, the Tendulkars, the Dravids, the Lakshmans, Gangulis of the world. In comparison, there's a younger generation that's coming through, perhaps, that's got other distractions in cricket. Do you sense now that we are at some sort of tipping point? It's an important point for the game where the love for Test cricket, the devotion to it needs to be encouraged again in young players?
Definitely. I mean, and I would blame them to a certain extent, because it's an individual's choice, or he has to choose if he wants to play Test cricket or not. But I won't blame them completely, probably because of the way that we've not really succeeded in Test cricket in the last 1 or 2 years, the way that we should have, or the way that people expected us to. So it's been disheartening for people to watch as well. So right now it's up to all of us this group of players to get that confidence back and actually inspire youngsters to take up Test cricket and let them know that getting through a situation in Test cricket is far more satisfying than anything else you'll ever achieve in your life. A 30-40 in an IPL game is nothing compared to a 10 not out or a 15 not out at the end of the day that helps another guy win the game for your team in a Test match. So I think that's the sort of message we want to spread across youngsters to aim to be successful in Test cricket, and that's the responsibility of all the players right now in the team.
You touched just briefly upon the IPL, and it was interesting that you made that mention, because now the IPL is identified as this devil that has caused the this change in mindset, young players wanting to gravitate towards T20 cricket. As someone who's played the IPL from the very beginning, you came on as an emerging cricketer and now you're the captain of one of the most successful franchises. Is the IPL to blame for the way people are thinking about the game in India, or is the IPL just a convenient diversion?
See, I believe it's always an individual's choice. As I said, you have a lot of distractions in life. You have a lot of distractions apart from cricket. You have a lot of distractions that come along the way that might stop you from playing cricket, but you don't do that. So there's no good reason for someone playing IPL not to aim for Test cricket, because IPL is only 1.5 months in 1 year. What are you going to do for the rest of the time of the year? You don't intend to plan on playing IPL only, because then you're wasting 10 months of your life, which you can work hard and try to get to that Test spot. So I believe it's up to the individual, and a lot of guys have changed their thinking because of sort of getting those 30s, 40s, or that one sort of crucial knock for their franchise.
And there's fame and money, Virat. Obviously,
exactly.
That comes along.
Yeah, you're playing in front of 50,000 people, something that you would never have imagined playing for your first class team. So I think it is exciting. To be very honest, it is exciting. It is it is great for the players to play. Right now, if you see the team, all of them are really inexperienced and young, but still, if you see them play in certain situations, you would not have that sort of feeling looking at them that someone has only played 10-15 one-days and he's pulling the team through. So these are the sort of positives that come out of IPL. But as long as thinking about not really being bothered about playing Test cricket, I think that's an individual's choice, and he needs to decide it himself if he just wants to be a T20 or a one-day player, or proceed to the purest form of the game.
Let me ask you a final few questions, Virat. One of the other great Indian Test teams was this team of the 90s, 2000s, which included Anil Kumble, Rahul Dravid, Sachin, Lakshman. There's a core now of a team that people are now identifying as the future Indian team. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Cheteshwar Pujara, Shikhar Dhawan, Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar, guys like that. Do you sense that you're coming together as a group now, which will be together for the next 10, 12 years, and has now almost the burden, it's a bad word, but almost the burden to take Indian cricket forward? True.
I mean, if you ask me, do I see myself playing 10 years of international cricket with these guys? Yes. Because you see every guy in the team, our careers are growing in international cricket together, and everyone's really hungry for success. All these guys are from the same batch that have idolized players who they've got a chance to play with. So all of us realize the importance of doing well, of succeeding every game that we play. Yes. None of these guys get happy with one performance in a game and then get satisfied and then lay back. So everyone's really hungry for success, and I think that's the most important thing in this team right now, that all of us enjoy each other's company, that you can see on the field. Everyone's happy for each other and really hungry to succeed in international cricket. So I see myself playing with them for a long, long time. And if you talk about the burden always has been as individuals, as young individuals. When you came into the team, there's always pressure of cementing your spot or getting to play more matches as you perform. But this is a different sort of a responsibility, because now you have a team which is totally transformed, and all the young players, they wouldn't have imagined that it'll come so soon, that you have to actually be the core of the team and yes. Play along with guys your age and take responsibility of doing well everywhere we play. So I think that should excite all of us. We shouldn't be pressurized because of it. Obviously there is going to be a little bit pressure, thinking that you're being looked at guys who will give happiness to the whole of the country. Yes. So I think we should be excited with that, and all I can say is I really enjoy being a part of this team right now, and I see great things for the team in future.
You know, the other pressure that comes, and not necessarily cricketing pressure, is the pressure of being a celebrity Indian cricketer. There's scrutiny, yes, for your cricket, but there's also scrutiny outside your cricket. You're always looked at. Your personal life is of interest. How do you deal with that? The fact that there is so much interest in Virat Kohli, the individual, suddenly you can't just walk out on a street in Delhi anymore.
No, I can't do that. It gets really boring at times, to be really honest, because I've always been someone who's always been hanging out with my friends and, you know, sort of just getting into my car, picking up my friends, going for a meal somewhere, going to just sit and have coffee, and I can't do all those things anymore. And I'm still, like, you know, going to be 25 this year, so I miss those things. It does get really boring at times, so I try to, you know, call my friends home or just spend some time with them. But yeah, it does bother you at times that wherever you go, you know, people want to meet you or click pictures or take autographs. But I get really happy as well that, you know, I'm a reason for them to be happy, and I can give some sort of happiness to them. If you ask me when I was 16 that would you be happy doing all this when you're 25, yes, I would have been really I would tell myself I would be really
But you
happy.
don't want people to be talking about your girlfriends and things like that. I mean, 25-year-olds are supposed to have girlfriends. It's not out of the ordinary, but it suddenly is media fodder and things like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, it's pretty normal to be with someone, but if it gets under the scanner, it's really annoying. And you know, I used to get really angry about it, or you know, get really sad about the word I would use is sad, because, you know, before that no one would care who I hang out with, and now they want pictures. And
so does mom ask, who's this girl? Should I be talking to the parents? That kind of thing. Does that happen?
yeah, my mom always keeps telling me, you have one more year, you have one more year. Every year that passes on to the next year. So I tell her, you just let me be. When I take the decision, I'll let you know.
One other thought I wanted, you know, because we're talking about this, is, you know, this whole concept of brand Virat. A lot of cricketers now get branded as more than just individuals. Oh, you're worth so and so, so much money, there's so much endorsement, all of that. Does that ever enter your thought process, Virat? I mean, the fact that now, you know, you're not just a cricketer, someone who can bat really well, and there's all this peripheral stuff around you. How do you deal with that stuff?
Well, it's something that I just look at it and tell myself it's just incentive to what I'm doing on the field. It's just a bonus. I never get too serious about it. You know, people come up and tell me, okay, you can act really well, why don't you want to try some Bollywood stuff? And I just tell them that I try to act well so I can get done with it and get more rest, because I hate being on the set and, you know, just trying to finish off things and it doesn't go off well. So that's one conscious effort I make, but it's not something that I look forward to. It's something that I, you know, handle very professionally, saying it's something that I'm getting because of what I'm doing on the field. So I realize the importance of what I'm doing on the field and take this as incentive and finish it and just get done with it and go home.
Well, thank you, Virat, because you know, for Indian cricket followers, they'd much rather see you for the next 10 or 12 years bat rather than act in a Bollywood film or anything of that kind. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And hopefully the tour to South Africa will be a smashing success. Thanks.
Thank you.